It's Digimon time! Hello and welcome to another figure review. Today we're gonna have a look at the TungMung DM-02 Duke X. What that means is it's an unlicensed Digimon figure by the company TungMung. And by the name you should know, Duke X stands for Dukemon or Gallantmon in the X version, which is a lot more robotic, a lot more cool looking, and that's really the main reason why I got it. It's just so great, and I can't wait to pack this out and show you. And also there's this box, not for resale. I'm guessing that's with the weaponry because he has a really big shield and a big lance. So let's get into it. So first thing that should be addressed is that some assembly is required. Here's the, I'm just gonna show you this. I will not assemble it on camera because it will drive me insane. You know, I always have the camera and I have the ring light over here, and I would just constantly bump into this. So I apologize, guys. I would like to do stuff like that on camera, but I can't. It would take hours. It would look fumbly-bumbly, and it would be awful. So let's not do that. But this is like the main body, which already looks cool. And then he has a cape. I'm gonna get into that. And then here's the hands and all the stuff with the head. I don't know why this one's already, there's like something disconnected. But I'm gonna look into this. I think it's weird that you have to put on the arms. But yeah, just noted that you have to assemble that stuff first. I did not know that, so now you know. Finally, I got everything together. It wasn't really that hard, but the ball joints for the shoulder pads and the head, boy oh boy, to snap those in, and I feel that everything is on there very tightly. Now that's the good part. Let's have a look at the size. But there's definitely some bad, I can tell you. But he stands at about 21.5 centimeters to the top of his head. And if you're really having all the hair, the ponytail in the back, that's like 23 overall in size, and 4 inches that would go up to 8.5, 8.6, 8.7 inches to the top of the ponytail. So he's a big dude. He has a little bit of size to him. Look in detail of the figure. I wanted to go as close in as possible because the paint job on it is really impressive. All the small gold bits and the red metallic, especially the lines in his kind of armor face and the knight helmet, really. It's really small. Here's my finger. And pretty clean. Also the eyes, the irises. I do not know why he has the white on one side and not on this side. I don't know if that's intentional or not. Don't really remember these small details for your boy Gallantmon. And then you have the gem on top of it with the ponytail. Also very nicely painted. It is clean. Not an issue with it. And as far as the paint job goes, it's really just all metallic. The white, the gold, the red. And the only part that's not is, I feel like, the gray down here. That's really just a more muted tone. For the rest of it, it's all metallic. And obviously you have the blue gems, which are just see-through blue, which have to be attached as such. They have pegs in there, and it looks a little bit wonky. But now back to the detail on the armor. You have the belt buckles that go around the chest area. Tiny writing. And let me just go around the back. Yes, I already attached the cape because it looks good. You have this panel which you can take off. For the base later, we'll get to that. And as you can tell, the shoulder pads are super shiny. And they are also die-cast. There's a couple of die-cast on this figure. I will tell you as I go on with this review. Then you have the Triforce symbol. It is a Triforce symbol, really. For the Royal Knights, I don't know if that's the actual symbol of the Royal Knights, with some more writing on it, very tiny Digimon writing. And you got the Triforce logo once again in the hand, more detail around the arms, gold paint job, and the muted gray tones. As we move down, for a little bit of blue in that part. The crotch piece with, that just looks funny. More writing on it, arrows with writing in the thighs, gold, red. I mean, the gold and the red, that is truly royal. There's nothing more royal than that. And then you have the weird thingy sticking out on his feet. And now, speaking of the feet, they're die cast, and they're also very sloppily painted. It's really weird. Everything else looks so good, but this is just, I don't know what's going on over there. It goes a little bit over the line, and then there's like white spots in the dark. It has tons of bleeding on it. And it just seems to me like they didn't know how to paint die cast, or basically not having really the means to paint it. Another thing I gotta note, the plastic. It feels a bit cheap, and you know, this is an unlicensed Digimon figure, so you could say like, oh, what are you expecting? But I'm really, overall, I mean, I don't feel like it's gonna break off. What I'm really scared about are these small bits here and there, like the sharp points. Well, this one's kind of sturdy. He's also pretty sharp. The sharp points are definitely sharp, so do keep that away from small children. But overall, I'm saying, I feel like if you're one of these guys who want to play around a lot with the figure, I would be very careful, because I don't know about the stability of it. So let's get to the articulation. The head is on a ball joint, and by the way, this piece just kind of pegs in, and it doesn't really stay in very nicely. As soon as you touch it, it just kind of rotates out. So I'm gonna take that off for the rest of the for the articulation part at least. So the head is on a ball joint and also has a hinge, so you have the neck articulation. Would go all the way around, but obviously because of the mold, because of the color of it, can't really do that. So also goes up very nicely, goes down because they left some room for the ball joint. Down not so much, but it's okay. Shoulder pieces, they're just pegged in over here. As such, you can only rotate them up and down. There's no backward or forward movement in there. They didn't put a hinge in it, which they kind of could have. They kind of could have something that rotates, but they did not. Actually, the entire shoulder is a big ball hinge, so you can bring that up. And it would go up even more, but you have the shoulder pad, which is also on a ball joint, so you can rotate that around. Bring that forward. It's so stiff. Okay. Here's the part where I'm feeling that if I try to force this too much, it will break. But it is on a ball joint. You can see it in there. So it does have some wiggle motion, and it should rotate around, but it's so stiff on there. Also, it's also part of the big ball hinge, so you can bring that up and down with this entire part. You have a bicep swivel, simple stuff, nicely hidden. Did I break something off? I keep hearing these noises. Did you just hear that? Just oh god. Double hinged elbow, which because of the mold once again doesn't really go that far. I mean, it's alright. It looks cool, nicely hidden. Now one of the weakest parts, and then that happens, one of the weakest parts are the hands. They're just on ball joints, but they don't have any room, so essentially they're just a swivel. They're also a little bit rubbery, but yeah, that doesn't do anything. It's just a simple ball joint. For your chest area, you have two hinges that are connected in this middle piece. The upper one is extremely stiff. You see that? That's all I'm kind of getting out of it. Some wiggle motion. The lower one is very productive. That goes back and forth. Can rotate in the upper part, can rotate in the lower part if I'm getting to grab onto it. So there you go. As far as wiggle motion, it does tilt side to side a little bit in the top part. It's not too much, but at least it's something. For your leg articulation, you have these panels over here which are on double hinges, so you can bring that down and move the leg forward. As you can hear, it's nice and ratcheted. So it does stay in place. Let me actually move this out so I don't break anything off. It does go to the back, and it does go out to the side. There you can clearly see the ball on a hinge, which is pegged in at the crotch piece. Then you got the double hinged knees, same problem, stiffness. The lower part, I can't get the lower part to really play around. You would get 45 degrees. There's a little under it. I feel like you would get 45 degrees. And then you have also these knee pads kind of things, which cover up everything nicely. Rotating with the knee. I don't think you can move this up and down. I tried it and I don't want to break it. You can see there's a hinge in there, but I think it's connected. So for the articulation, there's like a big block. First of all, you have a hinge, squeaky hinge. Also move side to side on the block that's in there with another hinge. Go side to side very nicely. Rotation, but it's blocked completely by this piece around the foot, and finally it has a toe hinge as well, which doesn't really go down, but it does go up. I just wanted to check that. And then we have actually some more detail under the foot, and that does it. I am confused, and I was never this confused about accessories. I mean, first I want to show you this sheet, which has like, oh, you can put this in the hand, and you take this apart, and that's how you put the shield on his arm, and it doesn't fall off because he has this extra clamp. But what is going on over here? You could shake off his arms and put him on your Transformers. You can take the shield and put it on this Transformer. What? Why? Even like they have the official Transformers logo in there. Huh? I don't even know what this is. Okay. Enough! No, actually no. He has this arms on him in the packaging. Yeah, I don't know what they're for. I mean, it looks cool. It's not articulated and it doesn't do anything. And it's not part of the figure. Same goes for this one. This was also in the packaging. It's kind of like a helmet from something, which is not part of this figure. Then you have a Omnimon hat, which is not part of this figure. But hey, it's looking pretty cool. Also, again, same problem with the plastic. I already kind of gouged the edges of the helmet. It looks cool, but why do you have an Omnimon helmet? Okay. Wooza. I mean, you can put it on your Gallantmon if you want to, but now for the actual accessories of this figure, you got a shield, and oh my god, does it look pimp! You got the gold, got more writing on it, paint job is very nice, and then you got the blue gems in there with all the lines and mechanics and just... It's beautiful, but that's not all. Even in the back, there's tons of detail. You got the handle for the fist hand, and as we established, you have this piece, this see-through blue piece, which you just put on top over here, and then you have an extra clamp for his arm. Can't really do it right now because I can't see through the camera. It's messing me up really. So shield 10 out of 10, and it's really big. Actually, I want to know. I want to have the scoop and like diameter from one tip to another. Like 15 centimeters, 14 and a half. Big things. And then there's the lens, which also looks very nice. You have hinges on the side over here, so that goes up and down to your liking when he goes into attack. Great detail on it, mechanics, and the metallic paint job on the gold and red. It's really darn clean. And then you might notice there's a panel over here, so you can put in batteries and light it up! Unfortunately, I don't have any batteries, but... Oh, wait! No, it didn't work, did it? You can't actually see it on the light. Let me turn off the light. There you go. Woo! It's actually not too bad. It looks a lot more impressive under the camera, I gotta say that as well. But yeah, you have a tiny light in the middle of it. You got lighting in there, and for once I have the batteries. Shout out to my Sazine. And yeah, it has see-through clear plastic. It's very sharp. I wanted to say, don't put it on dangerous spots. You have the fist hands, which are soft plastic, as we established earlier, and then you have these open hands to hold your the shield, really, because you don't hold the lance. The lance just packs onto his arm. That's why you can take the forearm pieces off. That's how that works. And finally, you also come with a base, a big base, actually pretty impressive. Pretty sturdy, almost too sturdy. Everything on this figure is extremely stiff. Especially that. And you kind of have like a spider symbol, so you have multiple parts where you can pack it in. And that's really impressive. Also, if you don't fancy this long arm, you can take this part off. I already put it on, and as you can tell, it's stiff. Actually, is this pack has the same... almost the same? I don't know though. I think you need the full shebang to really get a good grip on your Omnimon, Gallantmon. What? This shield is really big. So, final thoughts of this figure. Actually, does this work? How does it look? Final thoughts of this figure. This is unique. This is different. But this is also niche, and this comes at a price. And now the sword is stuck on the wall. And now I pull it out. Great. Technical difficulties. The actual final thoughts of this figure, because I've re-recorded this many times, but what do I think about this? First and foremost, the design is amazing. I love that they went with Gallantmon X, so it's already something not only for Digimon fans, but I also think for mecha fans. This is something you might fancy. Overall, design is great. Accessories are everything they should be. Articulation is somewhere in the middle. Some parts are pretty good, other parts are really limiting. It's hit and miss in that regard. Paint job is really good for the most part, except for the feet is, I feel like, the one thing where it really falls apart. And then finally, I also have to mention the plastic. It can tend to get a little bit dangerous in the thinner parts, where it really just, I'm afraid it might break off. So plastic, kind of cheaper quality. And at the end of the day, I think the most important aspect of this figure, the most important thing which you have to consider if you're buying or not, is the price point. He does come at a price at around 100 bucks or more, depending on where you get him from. And I got mine from Kapow Toys, which is a UK store. I'm just gonna give a special shout out to them because they've been very nice to me. They had a little bit of an issue with their computer, and this guy was sitting around for like a month. And after a couple of times, like they finally sent him out, and they were really nice, and they were just handling this everything nicely. So I want to give a shout out, and if you're interested, Kapow Toys is one of the more legit sites that still are selling these Gallantmon X. These Duke X is actually the title of it, because if you're looking on eBay, yeah, you're paying 200 bucks or 150 at least. So there you go. Final thoughts. What is it? Recommend it, but only if you're a fan of mechas or Digimon. Like I'm saying, I love unique figures like that. I love niche stuff like that. And that's why I picked it, and I'm happy with it. Could be a little bit cheaper, but at the end of the day, it's alright. It's alright, okay? That's gonna do it, guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more previous card game stuff and whatever Duke X wants.